What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Beyond the Gray Media. This is Josh here, checking in on you out there in YouTube land. Happy Monday, happy new work week. How are you doing? I missed you. I wrote 1,000 words on a movie. I was taken on an absolute trip, like some sort of acid-fueled nightmare last night, and I cannot wait to talk about it. However you found me, however you made it here, I hope you got a cold iced tea, a cold brew, whatever, cold brew, cold beer, cold bowl, tall boy, whatever you're into, have a seat. Thanks for being here. We're checking out 2024's The Substance. You know, one thing that they don't tell you and that sucks about this whole YouTube thing is they don't tell you that talking about wholesome feature films for families, it's going to slowly change you. Suddenly, however, though, you're not going to have the same opportunities that you used to have to really spend that quality time with the new film, wine and dine them, romance them a little bit, right? Before you know it, you start having second thoughts. You start having doubts and some ulterior motives. Even if your intentions are good, they start to creep in. You think about what to say about a film instead of just enjoying the flick for what it is. Or maybe that's just me. Maybe it's a blessing and a curse to want to overanalyze something instead of just sitting back and, to quote the great Hunter S. Thompson, buy the ticket, take the ride. Right? That's what I'm doing now. That's my new Sunday routine. I've decided, and I just started a few weeks ago, and ultimately I think if that ends up taking the place of some of the output here, I think it's for the greater good, because it becomes a slippery slope, the thin edge of the wedge, as they say, where complacency equals casualties when you're just watching things to review them. That's not what movies are supposed to do. They're supposed to take you on a ride. Buckle up, sit back, and let's take the ride of a lifetime with The Substance. 2024's The Substance blew my hair back and challenged my headspace. I beg of you, wherever you watch this film, just put your phone down. Just unplug for a little while. Wherever you get to go is going to be a bonus. One thing that's abundantly clear right out the gate in The Substance is Demi Moore has still got it. Acting chops, that is. I know by talking with a few people about this film that the sentiment is, God, she's so brave. How could she do that, really? That's what she signed up for? Demi is playing the role of Elizabeth Sparkles, a once award-winning aerobics instructor with all of the cachet and star of the Walk of Fame of that 80s geriatric exercise home videotape trade movement. Unfortunately, she overhears a conversation with what must be the devil and Dennis Quaid about the network needing to go younger, thinner, happier, 50 as well, everything stops. Dennis Quaid is the executive who is unhinged and slothfully disgusting, pounding buffalo scrimp so hard he misses the Cajun dip. Hack and slash camera work start to piece together this nauseating picture. Isn't it ironic as the camera focuses and lingers on the black fly and her Chardonnay? The Substance in a nutshell, it's the classic fable and tale we've seen so many times. It's the warning of vanity. Be careful what you wish for, right? It's death becomes her if only it was focused on Glenn Close's obsessive side. Much is being written about the danger and anxieties of women, and who is this film really for? The horror film of the year in all of its disgusting, perverse glory, close-ups, body shaming, and dysmorphia. It actually has a lot to say. Let's be real, I don't really have any experience in this field. I just know that I was uncomfortable for almost the entire runtime of its 140 minutes. But before I go way off on a tangent, I want to explain the plot, because I tend to do that. I just start yakking, and I'm going to hit some spoilers, and I'll let you know when that is. The character of Elizabeth Sparkles is being replaced, and after a sudden accident, she's offered a breakthrough drug that comes with some dangerous instructions and consequences. She signs up and picks up her first fix. Inside the care package are these simple rules. Activator, you activate only once. Stabilizer, you stabilize every day. Switch, every 7 days without exception. Also a few food packets to get you by. Remember, you are one. Spoilers coming. What happens next is very interesting. Close-up shots of Elizabeth Stark, nude and vulnerable, give way to her first injection. Fucking blast off. I wasn't sure what was happening or what I was witnessing when her body slumped to the ground, and I was like, I've seen this before. Prying open your third eye, literally, as she takes some sort of pupil dismemberment DMT train ride straight to hell that leaves her exposed. I don't know what I was expecting, but the body horror as her new self sheds her meat sack was something special. It kind of reminded me of the Rhino scene from Ace Ventura 2. One single injection unlocks your DNA. starting a new cellular division that unlocks a new version of yourself. You are the Matrix. Everything comes from you. This is simply a better version of yourself. You just have to share. You are one. Hate to be that guy that talks about the cinematic camera angles and shit, but the shots, the way that the camera just kind of groans across the screen with this very like orb and POV, like, I mean, it was working for me, man. There is so many fun feels and callbacks in this flick. It's a melting pot of like Spike Jonze, Danny Boyle to the master himself, Stanley Kubrick, but a little bit of Clockwork Orange tossed in emulsified garlic reduction a la David Cronenberg and Darren Aronofsky. You gotta throw John Carpenter, right? I mean, the end with Assimilation. John Carpenter. This film, though, it's painful. It's unflattering when it shouldn't be, bordering on disorder. The threading of her spine, the gore, the anatomy involved, it's pretty unflinching. Hope you don't like needles and hope that you have some Dramamine available. You can never have too much of a good thing, am I right? I mean, you can't have your cake and eat it too. When she unzips her outfit, I rewound that scene like 3 fucking times. No shit. Imagine having the best version of yourself, period, with the caveat of you only get it for 7 days. Then you must refund and replenish the other 4 cheese meat sack hot pocket of your body that's just laying there. If you take any more, there are serious consequences, and guess what? Now we have actual stakes. We have a reason to root, and we have a real fucking movie. Let's go. What happens though is this alter ego Sue has to take an injection every single day, reap the benefits, get the new gig, and then switch back without failure. There's not a lot of rules in this film, but you have to switch back. 7 days, that's it. No more, no less. Guess what happens the first time old Sparkles decided to borrow a little extra spinal sack time? She goes through a little change. I can't totally put my finger on it, but her finger becomes something like a parable ripped out of a Stephen King story, or just the finger of Mrs. Ganush from Drag Me to Hell. And of course, we got to hyper focus on it. We got to look at her flaws. She got to go through there and scrub it, and just it's so painful to look at. The vanity, like her heartbreak, just having the hand that's not quite right, the one finger that's like the decrepit old lady. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but those insecurities, you have to. You got to respect the balance. There is no you. There is no her. There is just one. What if she's drunk? Sorry. You are one. Later on in a diner, somebody cue Crazy Ralph, the harbinger of doom. That's when I sank completely the fuck into this movie. When we get a little bit of backstory, a little foreshadowing, right? Where he says, 7 days is a long time. Has she started yet? And she's like, what? Eating away at you? Is she starting to borrow from you? Then I was like, this is gonna go so wrong. And it does, man. God bless it. It goes so hard and so far. There's a lot of movies that kind of have this same take, right? It's like a classic fable, but this is a nightmare into the deepest and darkest personal hells, and it just completely festers, man. What works besides the sound and the editing and the quick cuts is this fucking rip through nothing but this body horror fever dream, but it doesn't give you any preparation. It's just cold lotion the whole time. Increasingly disturbing are the days of that borrowed time and the swollen injection sites. You're never gonna look at chicken legs again, ever. But first we gotta creepily stare at this lady's ass and then slowly pull this chicken out of her stomach. But that's not the end of the poultry. No, you gotta stuff a full bird, man. You gotta stuff it's what's for dinner. It's what's for dinner, man. I feel like chicken tonight. My God, dude. What about the lady in room 237? Does anybody remember her from The Shining? No, how about just the worst half of her? That's what you're looking at with the rest of this film. God bless Demi Moore, man. Have some sensitive knees? This is not the film for you. This is like Requiem for a Dream meets The Fly with the generous helping of society and a bunch of turkey stuffing. For sure, with 45 minutes to go, I thought this thing's got to be about over, man. We can't get much worse. And then you've got this crazy fight, this crazy like penthouse, unbelievable scene, man. Some sort of crossfire, something like this crossbred. I don't know, something out of Chud, Howie Mandel from The Little Monsters, and Sloth from The Goonies. That's what you end up getting as one person wants to kill off the other, but like I said, they are just one, and they have to combine to kind of become like what the Jabberwocky should have looked like from Smile, right? This thing, the blood, the gore, with this kind of whimsical cuteness of the Brundlefly, it goes hard. It goes hard, and it becomes like the shunting from society. This film is a 10, and it's not even close. This is the first time I've been this affected from a movie, whether it's a horror movie, drama, thriller, anything. in a long time, maybe since Hereditary, where I was like, that movie got under my skin. That movie was so spectacular to watch and such an absolute just DMT ride to hell. Just incredible, man. I fucking love this movie. It got me so excited and then also so sad, so devastated. I went through every single emotion in this film. There's that scene where Elizabeth decides, she's going to lower herself and she's going to go on that date. But the shame of how she looks, seeing the billboard of the perfect Sue, it's too punishing. And so what she does, she just completely destroys herself, eats her feelings. We've all been there, right? That scene, the hallway scene, where there's that chase where she's wearing the yellow coat. She's like, Dude, that is superior filmmaking. I fucking love it, man. I'm telling you, this is just a time stealer. It should not be 2 hours and 20 minutes. This does not feel that long. I feel like I was in this thing for a quick 90-minute. It was brutal, dude. Brutal. Everything that's happening with the puncture wounds on her spine. And then another cool effect was as she's starting to steal more time from her meat sack, we don't see what's actually happening to the woman. We just get she becomes more disgusted and more sick as she goes into the room. There's empty vials everywhere. She's wanting to vomit just by the smell. And so we're wondering what's happening to poor Demi Moore. Elizabeth Sparkles has lost her shine, right? She's just sitting there on the ground. We don't know what's going on. And she keeps stealing and borrowing her life until it's too much. Suspense, man. Chock full of fucking suspense. I felt everything with this film. Fucking loved it. So before we get out of here, I got to talk about the outrage and the disgust from a lot of people I'm reading on, different Google reviews, tons and tons of one-star reviews. There's no artistic vision. There's no integrity. There's no moralness to society. People are just hating on this thing and shunning it because they think for sure it was written by some chauvinistic male director that just wanted to cash in on, I don't know, man. It's interesting, though, that it was made by the same amazing, superbly talented female French director who made Revenge. This movie, I think, has a lot to say. I felt every single second of its runtime. I felt for Demi Moore. I felt for I felt all of it. I felt horrible at the same time. And that's what movies are supposed to do. They're supposed to be an experience. They're supposed to take you for a ride. And god damn, man, this was one of them. I am kicking myself for not seeing this thing in the theater. Speaking of theaters, it's interesting that Mubai put this thing out, right? It was offered to Universal. They did a test screening of it, and the executives or whoever they wanted Demi Moore, they wanted to cut it all to shit. They wanted to change it up, and they ended up just backing out. I know that their name is still on as a producer, but Mubai or Mubi, however you say it, picks it up, releases it on Amazon, premieres it, it gets all this buzz, and I watched it for free for a 7-day rental. It might cost me $10 a month if I forget to cancel it. Go sign up for that free trial, man. It's going to be the best thing you do. It's going to be a hard sit. It's going to be a hard watch. That's the idea. I haven't had this much fun in a long time. I'm stuttering. I had such a good time, dude. Everything Requiem for a Dream. It's got so much It's got so much... The Substance. My favorite horror film of the year. Sorry, Late Night with the Devil. The Substance came through, pulled your pants down, and blew the fucking doors off. 2024 belongs to The Substance. I did not think that was going to be possible. I thought it was going to be kind of boring. 2 hours and 20 minutes. Is this going to be kind of maybe like Infinity Pool or a little bit of Possessor, which are both great movies in their own right. This completely overwhelmed me. One of my favorite movies of maybe the last 5 years. This is the best horror movie I've seen in a long time. Haven't been that affected in a long time. So if you want to see more from me, please like, comment, subscribe, talk some shit down there, and then follow me on social media if you got the time. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Cheers.